We need to talk about one of the biggest deceptions in personal finance. Seriously, it's a huge misconception that keeps so many people chasing a goal that, well, it's just wrong. It traps them in a race they can never, ever win.
This quote from author Morgan Housel, it just nails it, doesn't it? When we fantasize about being a millionaire, what do we picture? The giant house, the fancy sports car, the designer clothes. We see all the spending. But that's not wealth. And understanding the difference between the two, well, that's going to change everything for you.
So that begs the question, what is the real secret to wealth? And I'll tell you right now, it has very little to do with getting a massive paycheck. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. To really get it, we need to look at how truly wealthy people act.
Okay, picture this. J. Paul Getty, who was once the richest man on the entire planet, is out at a restaurant, and he makes his guests wait 15 minutes just so he can avoid paying a tiny cover charge. Now, this wasn't about being stingy. It was about a mindset. It proves that old saying is true. It really isn't what you earn, it's what you keep. So let's start with the most important idea of all. We have to completely redefine our financial goal. It's not about looking rich, it's about being wealthy. And believe me, there is a world of difference between the two. So here it is, the critical distinction. Being rich is about your income. It's flashy, it's visible, and it usually gets spent pretty quickly. But wealth is quiet. It's invisible. It's the financial assets that you don't spend. It's the car upgrade you skipped, the expensive watch you passed on. Wealth isn't about having more stuff. It's about owning more of your own time.
And this right here shows the difference perfectly. Society sees and celebrates all the spending, but real wealth, true wealth, buys you the things that money can't technically buy. It's the ability to wake up in the morning without an alarm clock and say, what do I want to do today? That is the ultimate luxury. Morgan Housel tells this really powerful story about his father. His dad was an ER doctor, a stressful, high-paying job. And while all his colleagues were buying bigger houses and fancier cars, Housel's family lived pretty modestly, well below their means. Years down the road, his father was totally burned out from the job. And you know what he did? He just stopped. He retired. But his colleagues, with their big mortgages and car payments, they were trapped. They were prisoners of the very lifestyle their high income supported. See, Housel's father hadn't just been saving money. He had been buying his freedom, piece by piece. Okay, so we've redefined the goal. Freedom, not flash. Got it. But how do you actually build this unseen wealth? Let's get tactical. Here are a few simple but incredibly powerful tools you can start using today. This is a mental framework that will change the way you shop forever. Before you buy anything, I mean anything, translate its price tag into your life energy. So let's say after taxes and all that, you make $25 an hour. That new $500 phone isn't $500. It's 20 hours of your life, 20 hours of meetings, stress, and your commute. Now ask yourself again, is it still worth it? Suddenly the decision gets a whole lot clearer.
Okay, cars are one of the biggest wealth destroyers out there, so you have to protect yourself with the 24-10 rule. It's dead simple. Put at least 20% down in cash, finance the car for no more than 4 years, and make sure your total monthly car payment is less than 10% of your gross income. You follow this rule and your car serves you. You break it and you'll be serving your car. Now, not all debt is created equal. You have to know the difference. Good debt is debt that's used to buy something that can put money in your pocket. Think of a loan for a rental property where the tenant's rent covers your mortgage. But bad debt? Oh, bad debt just takes money out of your pocket. It's for stuff that loses value the second you buy it, like a new TV or financing a vacation. The wealthy use good debt to build more assets. Everyone else uses bad debt to fund a lifestyle they just can't afford. All right, let's talk about the most powerful wealth-building engine in the entire universe. And here's a hint. It has nothing to do with being a stock-picking genius or having some brilliant once-in-a-lifetime idea. It's about something way more accessible, but for many people, much, much harder to do. Let that sink in. It all comes down to consistency over intensity. Forget trying to hit financial home runs. The real magic, the life-changing wealth, comes from getting decent, average returns that you can just stick with for decades. Staying invested, staying in the game, that is the whole game. And if you don't believe me, just look at the story of Ronald Read. This guy was a janitor, a gas station attendant. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knew he was wealthy. But when he passed away at 92, he left an $8 million fortune to his local library and hospital. How on earth did he do it? He just saved what little he could,
invested it in solid blue chip stocks, and he waited for more than half a century. That was it. No genius, just endurance.
Let's look at a really powerful example from India to see how this works. Let's say there's a daily habit that costs about 100 rupees, maybe a pack of cigarettes, a fancy coffee, whatever. That adds up to almost 40,000 rupees a year. And that's a decent start for sure, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, what happens if you invest that money instead? Well, after just 10 years, that 40,000 rupees a year could grow to over 7 lakh rupees. And a lakh is 100,000. That's a serious chunk of change. But the real magic hasn't even started yet. But let's say you stick with it for a full 40-year career. That same annual investment, thanks to the mind-bending power of compounding, explodes into over 2 crore rupees. That's 20 million rupees. Think about that. All from a small 100 rupee daily habit. That's not just money. That is life-altering freedom built on nothing more than patience and time. So let's bring this all home. We've redefined wealth as freedom. We've talked about the tools to build it. We've seen the incredible power of time. It all comes down to a single conscious choice that you get to make every single day. This quote really just says it all. Your income, that's just a starting point. It's your savings rate. That little gap you can create between your ego and your income, that is the single biggest factor in determining your financial future. It's the one thing you have absolute control over. And this is the final psychological trap you have to escape. When you see someone driving a Ferrari, you don't think, wow, that person is so cool. No, you think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. See the difference? Nobody cares about your stuff. They're too busy using it as a yardstick for what they want. Once you really truly get that, the desire to spend money to impress other people just vanishes. So in the end, every single dollar that comes into your life presents you with this choice. You can trade it for fleeting status, trying to get a head nod from people you don't even know. Or you can trade it for something truly priceless, your time, your control over your life, your independence. The choice, as always, is yours. So what will you buy?